Good afternoon, everyone. Namaste. I am CA Priyanka Chordia, and we are going to discuss one topic under RERA Act 2016. So, our second topic today we are discussing is documents required for registration of the project under RERA Act 2016. So, we had this presentation before, the overview of the RERA Act 2016. And under that, we discussed in brief few sections. So, the sections, I would just summarize a little before we start with the documentation required, because these sections from section 3 to section 8 deals with the registration and application procedure under RERA Act 2016. Okay, so first I would say section 3. So section 3 deals with the prior registration of the project. So basically these are the prerequisites which are required, which we need to take care before we apply under the RERA Act. The second one is section 4. It deals with the application for registration of the real estate projects. So basically it lays down all the rules and regulations under which you can register. The next section is section 5, which is grant of registration, under which the RERA authority gives you a grant under this act. Then the next section is section 6, extension of registration. The next, which is generally done for 1 year in few cases. Then it is section 7, what we discussed was revocation of registration, and section 8 was obligation of authority. So this above is kind of a sequence we need to follow at the time of the registration procedure. Now let's look at the documents or the papers or the certificates required under this registration procedure. So we will go through the presentation which I have prepared, and then let's discuss it point by point. Okay. So let's see what we're going to discuss today, the points of discussion. So the first thing we are going to discuss is introduction of RERA and registration. It's registration. Then second would be overview of registration process. Then it would be documents in relation to promoter. Then it would be documents in relation to land, documents related to the project, and other few requirements which are necessary. Then it would be certificate from architect, which is required, but this I will be talking in relation to state of Maharashtra. So it is called as under MahaRERA. Then it would be certificate engineer under MahaRERA, certificate from chartered accountant under MahaRERA, declaration of the encumbrances under MahaRERA, and a checklist of documents which is required. So basically we will be going through all these points in our discussion today. So the first thing we would discuss is introduction of RERA and registration under RERA. The Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016, which is known as RERA, was enacted by the Government of India on 26th March 2016. So as I told you before, it is in 2016 it got enacted, but it came into effect in 2017. So the act came into effect from 1st May 2017. And many states had adopted this act, and they had actually started following from 1st May 2017. So this is a central act, and it is based on conclusive provisions of this act. So basically the RERA Act is central, and then every state has laid down its rules and regulations under their state rules and regulations in line with this central act. The next one is real estate sector in India has always been a focus of attention. As I told you, this real estate sector, basically, it's a booming sector. Everybody needs a house, and then everybody needs a commercial space. Everybody also needs some commercial space or land in terms of investment. So this sector has been always booming. In a country like ours, which is thickly populated, there is always a rise demand on residential commercial spaces, as we discussed, as a singularity opportunity for the promoters and developers to heavily exploit and cheat. So basically, just because there were no rules and regulations laid down in this sector, exploitation was there. it was mainly on the part of promoters and buyers, we can say, wherein the buyers were exploited. But then with this act coming into picture, things have fallen into place, we can say. So there was this diversion of funds and cheating, and that was the main reason that there was delay in allotment of the project or the property you've been buying. According to Section 3 of RERA, all real estate projects needs to be registered. So basically, there are few exceptions wherein your number of apartments proposed are less than 8, and few more conditions wherein the completion certificate is provided already before the act coming into force, and wherein there are these redevelopment projects which needs to be carried on, but no sale to the new party or new customers done. So in few cases where RERA registration is exempted, but in all other cases except these few listed in the act, you need to get registered under Section 3. Okay, so the next we are seeing is overview of registration process. So the first thing first, we will be creating a login ID to the state website, which is already there in many states. Then second thing we would be doing, we would be entering the basic information about the promoter. So promoter is one of the major parties to this registration, we can say. The second we'll be entering is past year details of the projects launched and completed in last 5 years by this promoter. So we're going to put in promoter's 5 years experiences. Then we are going to put details of the projects, detail of the project to be registered under the. So whatever your project is right now, maybe it is a commercial project we are looking at a residential project, or maybe commercial and residential together. So any project, and you'll be putting the details, the address, the name, etc. Once a project is created, enter the details of the building in the project. So maybe you can put the total number of buildings and phases and floors, and all these details need to be put. Then we are going to enter details of the common areas and facilities provided as per architect certificate. So architect certificate is required in your hand. Basically you go in for the registration process and apply for the registration. So in that certificate, it will be mentioned the common areas, the facilities, the number of parkings and slit floors and floors, and according to that you can just put in the details. The next would be enter the project cost details as per CA certificate. So we are talking about so this is the second certificate wherein cost details are provided, wherein you have to bifurcate between the land cost and the direct and indirect costs. So there is this list given, and then accordingly you can put the costs. The third would be, the next would be upload the relevant documents. So I will be discussing further what documents are actually required and you need to upload. The next would be add the details about the professionals working with the projects. So it is maybe the architect, the engineers, the people who are working this project, may it be a civil engineer or MEP consultant. Then next would be add the litigation details. So if there is any litigation going on the land, for the land which you are going to use for the project, so yes, you have to put in the litigation details in this column. The next would be add the task details as per architect certificate. So what all task you'll be taking basically as per the architect certificate, and we will be putting it one by one. And then we need to pay the fees, which we need to do, and only then our registration form will be submitted. It will get submitted, and then as we discussed earlier also, that within 30 days you will either get a grant, or it will be granted by the authority, or they will reject it or ask for a query. Whatever documents then they are required, we need to submit, and then we'll get the grant of registration. The next thing we would be discussing in detail is promoter details, as in what documents relating to promoter are required. Okay, the first thing is PAN card of the promoter. So as many promoters are there in the project, involved in the project, their PAN card would be essential, the address proof would be essential, and designation of all the promoters. So few must be working promoters, few must be non-working promoters. So whatever authorized signatory may be one promoter. So it depends on how the promoter is working under that project. The second would be last 3 years IT returns on the balance sheet of the promoter. And in case of new entity, it would be last 3 years IT returns of the parent entity, if any. So 3 years documents are required. The next would be details of the project launched by the promoters in last 5 years. So 5 years may that promoter has done how many projects, what is the status right now, are there any pending projects, then are there any litigation cases on those projects. So basically all these details are required to be submitted while we are applying for the registration. Then the next would be developer or group profile, name, register, address, type of enterprise. So basically this is the enterprise or the firm under which we will be working this project. So details of the those enterprise. Then next would be background and track records of the promoter. So basically the education, the qualification, the work experience, projects completed, ongoing. So anything and everything which would be essential in terms of being a promoter. So the work experience, qualification, and all these documents, all this information will be required. The next one is litigation. So litigation details of the past and the ongoing projects. So this we are talking only in terms of project. We are not talking of anything on individual basis. And last but not the least, the photo of every promoter, mobile number, registered email ID. So these things are essential because we need to provide details. The form is quite in detail. So all these, it is better, to have a fair idea of what all is required, so that before we actually sit and fill in the form, we have all the data ready in hand so that we can fill in the form quite fast. Yeah. The next thing we are going to discuss is land details. So land details, they'll include documents. So first thing would be legal title deed, reflecting the title or ownership of the promoter to the land. So basically, there are two scenarios. One, you own the land. Second, you take the land on lease, maybe. Third thing, maybe the landowner is also one of the promoters. So there are different scenarios. So in one scenario, if you're the owner, you'll need the legal title deed. In second thing, if you're not the owner, then the consent letter of the actual owner with other documents would be essential. And as I told you, if the owner is also a partner, so that's a case of a joint venture. So in case of JV, copy of collaboration agreement, development agreement, JV agreement, all these documents are essential. Then the second point we would throw light on is the land should be clear from all the encumbrances and details of the encumbrances of the property, including any rights, title, or name of the property related to that land. The next would be land title search report from an advocate with at least 10 years of experiences. So search report is necessary. Then the next thing we would throw light on is project details. Project details would include the following. The first thing we would discuss is number, type, and carpet area of the apartments for sale, along with the area, balcony or veranda areas, and exclusive open terrace number of floors. So there is, as I told you, the form is quite detailed and we need to provide each and everything what is asked for. So let it be total number of flats or commercial properties you are selling, its carpet area. If you are providing an open terrace, it should be told or shown separately. Number of floors we need to give them. If balcony is given separately, we need to provide all these details in an exclusive manner, we can say. The second would be agency to take up external development work. So we need to provide the details of the agency whom we are providing these work on contract basis maybe. Then it would be authenticated copy of the approvals and commencement certificate from the competent authority. So whenever it comes to starting a new project, a commencement certificate is given by a competent authority under that jurisdiction. So we need that commencement certificate in hand, only then you can actually start the project. The next would be copy of the sanction plan, layout plan and specifications of the project as approved by the competent authority. Before, what used to happen, the plans were not sanctioned, the layout plan, and that is the reason they would, the promoter or the builders, they would make change in plans according to their convenience. But it caused a lot of inconvenience to the home buyers, and that's the reason now they have made a document compulsory, which is a copy of the sanction plan, layout plan, and all the specifications must be given. And this document is provided by the competent authority under the jurisdiction. The next is in case of phase development. Okay, where there is phase development, you will obviously need a sanction plan, layout plan, and specification of the phases and also of the whole project. So above what we saw was the sanction plan, layout plan of the whole project. Here we need it in phases differently, plus we also need a layout plan of the whole project. Then the next would be plan of development works to be executed in the proposed project and the proposed facilities. So basically you need to show them what all facilities you're going to provide, such as firefighting, drinking water, emergency evacuation, etc. So all these you need to specify differently. Sorry. The next would be number and area of garage for sale and open parking and closed parking. So these are all different columns wherein you need to show what are the number of open parking, the closed parking, and also if you have any garages which are up for sale. The next is name and addresses of the real estate agent. Real estate agent play a very important role when it comes to this RERA as a whole. So these real estate agents should be registered in first place. Okay, and whosoever the real estate agent is, which is concerned or connected to our project, so his details need to be provided. The second would be the contractor's details, then the architect's details, the structural engineer details, and other persons concerned with the development of the proposed project. So basically, whoever these professionals are which are concerned with the project we are making, we need to provide the name and addresses of all such concerned persons. The next would be pro forma of allotment letter, agreement for sale, and conveyance deed proposed to be signed with the allottees. So basically, you need to provide a draft of all these letters. So for the first thing, all these documents we can say. The first thing is allotment letter, which we give to the to our client, you can say, to the home buyer or the commercial property buyer, to the allottee, saying that we have allotted you so and so flat or so and so commercial property. The second step is agreement for sale, when we actually make a paper document wherein it is written that such and such apartment or such and such commercial property is sold to so and so person. And conveyance deed is very similar to that. So proposed to be signed with the allottees. All these draft you need to give. The next would be sanction letter from the bank for construction, finance, and home loan tie-up. So anything, any document in relation to loan, in relation to land maybe, or the home buyer loan, when there are these tie-ups between the promoter, builder, and the banking institution. So these documents also, the sanction letters to be provided. GIS location details, and insurance in relation to the project. The next thing we would throw light on is other requirements. So basically, we right now saw the project related details, land related details, promoter related details. So anything which is not covered above, I've just covered it here. Okay, the first thing we would see details of the enterprise. So when we talk about enterprise, we are talking about the name under which we are going to make this project. Okay, so the first thing would be name of the enterprise, then the registered address of the enterprise, enterprise type, like it is a proprietorship or societies or partnership or companies, anything about what we just saw, and we can write it there that what type of enterprise it is, and then the particulars of such enterprise and their names. Its PAN card would also be essential. Then next would be the names and addresses of the real estate project agents. So we're talking about agents. So as I told you before also, let it be any number of agents which would be there, which would be working for this project. We need to give details of each and every real estate project agents. Okay, so the next would be details of the period of the project taken to complete the project. So as I told you before, that there were many cases wherein there was delay of project to give the apartments or the commercial properties on time. There was always a delay, but now they have told you, if you're going to complete your project in 2 years, give us the date that you will be completing the project in 2 years. If it is not completed, then the allottee or the home buyer, they can file a complaint saying that there's a delay in project. So basically there should be some basis in how much period you are saying you will be taking to complete the project, and so provide the details. The next would be TDR and FSI details relating to the projects. Then it would be self-certified copies of all the letterheads and rubber stamp in case of company. So if it is a company who is building this project, then the letterheads and the rubber stamp would all be required. Then litigation and pending cases documents. I think this we discussed before also, that if there is any litigation or any pending cases, these documents need to be provided. The next would be any other documents have to be furnished if needed under the rules and regulations of RERA. So as I told you, there are these different rules and regulations for different states. So maybe there must be some 1 or 2 documents more or less which are required under the specific state. So it includes any other documents, and we need to submit it state-wise. The next we are seeing is list of certificates under MahaRERA. Now I'll be just giving you a summary or a draft or just a understanding to know that what is included in the architect certificate, engineer certificate, and chartered accountant certificate. This I'm showing you under MahaRERA. This may differ a little state to state. Okay, so the first thing we are seeing is architect certificate. The architect certificate has to be issued in Form 1 as prescribed as per MahaRERA regulation. So in Maharashtra, if it's an architect certificate, you give it, you need to issue it in Form 1. The certificate contains the details of project professionals involved in the construction, namely the architect, the structural consultant, the MEP consultant, and the site supervisor. So we need to provide all these professional details in it. The second would be percentage of work completed for different buildings. And or wing wise or phase wise, however it is complete. If it is phase wise, it would be percentage of work completed under different phases. If it's a whole one project, then the total percentage of completion. Then the next would be percentage of work completed for entire registered phase with respect to internal and external development work, such as common amenities, water supply, internal roads, etc. So these are the details which are provided in architect certificate. The next would be engineer certificate. So the engineer certificate in Maharashtra is issued in Form 2 or 2A as prescribed by the MahaRERA regulations. This certificate contains the details of project details, involves professionals such as architect, structural consultant, MEP consultant, site supervisor. So all these details are to be given in this certificate also. We just need to see that architect and engineer, they are going hand in hand. So the second thing is total estimated cost of project completion. So what is the total cost which is required for the project completion? This is all estimation which is given. Estimated cost incurred till date. Balance cost to be incurred to obtain completion certificate. And the next thing would be the engineer has to certify the quality of materials used in the construction of the project. See, it should not happen that you're using some material and you're showing something different in the prospectus or other things for advertisement which you've provided. So the engineer has to certify the quality which is used in the construction of the project as per the format prescribed by the MHRERA authority. So the next thing would be Chartered Accountant Certificate. So this mainly deals with the cost side of the total project thing. So the CA certificate has to be issued in Form 3 as per MHRERA's regulation. The certificate contains both estimated as well as actual cost. So there are these two columns which are provided. So in particulars, you just write what all cost are we talking about, and next, in line with that, we are seeing a column of estimated cost and the actual cost which has taken place, which we have the expenses which we already paid for. So the first thing we are seeing is land cost, then we are seeing is development cost. So total estimated cost and actual cost incurred. Then we are also supposed to write the percentage completion of the work. So this is as per the architect certificate. Will come to know how much percentage are we talking about in terms of completion. The next would be percentage of cost incurred to estimated cost. So what we had actually estimated and what we incurred. So what is the difference between both we need to see, and we need to come on a percentage of cost. Next would be withdrawable amount from the designated bank account after considering the amount already withdrawn till date. So here, when it comes to RERA, there is this one thing we need to consider, that we need to maintain a different designated bank account, wherein in a scheduled bank, wherein 70% of amounts need to be deposited in that bank account. That's a compulsory thing. Okay, so here we just need to draw down and come to a figure wherein we need to understand how much is the withdrawal amount and how much is the amount withdrawn till date and how much was actually required to be withdrawn. And we will understand this in terms of percentage completion of work. The next thing would be the CA has to attach his working as per prescribed format as per MHRERA. So that is Annexure A to Form 3. So it basically contains the working of what we do to come down to these figures. So the next would be a declaration related to encumbrances. So basically, this is anything related, any loan or anything related to the land, to the property. So this declaration is to be given in Form B in case of Maharashtra. So promoter has clear title to the land. This needs to be mentioned in this form. The second thing is land should be free from encumbrances. If not, details of such encumbrances. So if any loan or any facility is taken on such land, so then those all details need to be provided. Project completion time period. As we discussed before also, that in how much time are you going to complete your project, we need to state that in first go only. The next would be project account maintenance. So basically we need to maintain this bank account, as I told you, wherein 70% we need to maintain. Then next would be promoter will not discriminate against any allottee. So this is a kind of declaration you need to give, that you won't be biased against any allottee and you are acting fair and just. Okay, so the next and the last thing we would discuss is the total number of documents we need to upload when it comes to application and registration under RERA. First thing would be PAN card. So it would be PAN card of the enterprise and PAN card of the promoters. The second would be legal title report, that in whose name the property is. Then it would be details of encumbrances, that is relating to any loan or anything in relation to the property. The next would be copy of layout approval, so the sanction plans and the layout plans. We need to upload all these documents. Okay, so the next would be pro forma or the draft of the allotment letter and the agreement for sale. Then declaration as we discussed in Form B. Then certificate of architect, Form 1. Commencement certificate as it is provided by the competent authority in that jurisdiction. Then it would be building plan approval. So plan approval is also necessary. Then it is Form 2, certificate of the engineer. Then it would be Form 3, certificate of CA. Form 5 is certificate of CA, but this is in relation of the audit. This is Form 4, again, certificate of architect. So there are two certificates which need to be given by the architect. Then it is status of conveyance, and then it would be Form 2A, and status of formation of legal entity. So basically, if it's a society, a cooperative society, any legal entity if we are talking. So basically, these are all the documents which need to be uploaded once we fill in all the details which we discussed earlier. So I would suggest one thing, that before you actually go and start filling in the details, keep all these details ready, and only then you can go on the website online and then fill in all the details, and then you can upload all these above mentioned checklist what we discussed. So basically today, thank you so much. So this today we discussed mainly all the documentation which is required for the application and registration under this RERA Act. So thank you again. I am representing CA Sansar channel. Thank you Vivek sir and his team for this opportunity, and also please like and subscribe the channel. Thank you so much.